you didn't know hydroxychloroquine was safe, but if somebody said to you, water isn't wet, you would say, and that you had to say that, you'd be like, I'm not saying that. I'm like, that's what they said when they said hydroxychloroquine wasn't safe. They were telling me to say water's not wet. How am I supposed to say that and wake up every day?
So I felt the same way about Bill C-16 in Canada.
Exactly.
Like, I have to call a woman a man.
Right.
Well, maybe I would just to be polite, but I have to?
It's
like, no, I don't think so. What do you mean have to?
So in May of 21, they start saying that they want to bring the shots out to the kids. Now, this is horrific. Why? Because kids were not dying from SARS. In fact, by the CDC's own numbers, children...
Well, it still says on your Wikipedia page that you're spreading misinformation about the fact that children don't die from COVID. And yet they don't. And that's very well established.
Very well established.
What, it's as risky for a child as the typical cold, I presume. Yes.
And guess what? Kids aren't dying or killing themselves because of so-called conversion therapy, or rather from professional therapy for sexuality conflicts, whether we're talking about sexual attraction or gender identity. There's a lie right there.
Those are basically the numbers. And what, the average person who died from COVID had like 5 major comorbidities and was older than the average age of death. Right, Jesus.
Right, they had an average of 4 comorbidities, and it was like 77. Age of longevity was like 76.
Yeah.
It was criminal, and it was very criminal to do it to the kids. And we were wondering,
that was inexcusable.
why are they doing it to the kids? So that there's a whole financial motive, which is if you put it on the vaccine schedule, there's a lot of money involved, et cetera. But we fought that very hard, and I'm pretty proud because we brought that lawsuit in May of 21, and we had been told that they were probably going to release it right around May or June. So we worked really hard to get it out. And in fact, they didn't release the shots to the kids until a few months later. So I know we delayed it by a few months. Nonetheless, the moment they rolled it out, you asked why they did it. As soon as the shots were legally able to be given to kids, you then in America saw local jurisdictions that took the power from the parents and gave it to the kids. So if a kid wanted to get a shot, but the parents were awake and didn't want to get the shot, them to have the shot, the kid was able to get the shot themselves. I think the age was 14 in certain local jurisdictions. That became very clear that this was Marxism, which is to take away the parental rights and give them to the state. The state was subbing in for the parents.
This point about Marxism and taking away parental rights is quite apt, because this is exactly what we're seeing when it comes to the LGBTQ issue, especially with the trans issue, where you have situations where if your child wants to transition but you are in disagreement, your kids could be taken away from you. Your kids can report you to Children and Youth Protective Services, and they could remove them from your home. Where in certain states or even countries, you won't be considered for being a foster family or parent or adoptive family if you're not trans affirmative. But then we have sanctuary states, where if your parents aren't trans affirming, then you can go to another state and the state will protect you from your parents and get you the trans affirmative care, trans confirming care that you are demanding, and your parents can't do a thing about it. The state is literally stepping in and becoming the new parent and essentially kidnapping children from parents. This is insane. And it's only justified if you think the state has more rights to your children than you do. That it's the state's job to care for your kids, not yours. The state is meant to empower parents to raise their children well, not to use parents as stewards of the state to just do whatever the state wants with the children. This is what happens when we no longer have an adequate anthropology, when we no longer recognize sexual normality, that parents are the primary caretakers of their children, their progeny, that every child has a right to a mother and a father. When we remove that norm, then it can be whoever is available and has enough power can be the one who can take care of children, i.e. the state, the sexual state.